Bailey Zappe, thanks for joining the program. Welcome in.
Appreciate y'all having me.
And Bailey, you guys had a great win on Christmas Eve in Denver, and that's your second win as a starter this year. Both wins in tough environments to play, first in Pittsburgh and then in Denver. Bailey, I just want to get a sense from you. What was the environment in Denver like for you?
Oh, man, it's pretty surreal. I was a Peyton Manning fan, so to be able to play in a stadium that, he kind of played in and won in was pretty awesome. I got to kind of see him on the sideline talking to coach and everything, so that was pretty cool. But to be able to go out there and play good team football and come out with a win on Christmas Eve and was pretty awesome. And then to enjoy yesterday, with a happy mindset was awesome.
Did you get to talk to Peyton at all?
I did not get to talk to Peyton. I saw him talking to coach, So I figured that was pretty a serious conversation, so I stayed away.
Yeah, you got to be careful, too, talking up Peyton Manning around here, Bailey. It's just, you got to be careful with some of the folks around here. They might not take too kindly.
So we spoke to Bill O'Brien this morning, Patriots media cartel, and he mentioned how, with experience, you've gotten more and more comfortable not only behind your offensive line, but, in the offense as a whole. And he mentioned just, giving you credit for that. So can you just speak to sort of, this whole journey you've been on? It was talked about on Sunday, going back and forth, you and Kurt Warner, and just, from being cut to where you are now, 2-2 as a starter, and, getting a couple wins under your belt here. How has experience and, being the quote-unquote starting quarterback helped you just along that journey?
Yeah, I mean, it's helped a lot. The more reps and the more, extra reps that we get before and after practice, whether it's the receivers, whether it's with the O-line and the running backs and pass protection and things like that, the more I get with those guys, I think the more comfortable we're all going to get together. The more comfortable I'm going to get with the system over time, of course. The more time you play in it, the better you are, of course. So I think as far as the confidence and everything that comes from, my teammates and those guys, they've, just speaking on the O-line, they play phenomenal. This past game, there was a lot of things that, we had to take care of as far as pressures and understanding and communication, and those guys did a phenomenal job to, stand their ground and play their butts off to where I can get the ball, to DP and those guys and let them make plays. But, it's been a wild year, and I'm excited to be where we're at now. And, I know we're playing a tough team in the Bills, but I'm excited to play them.
And Bailey, building off that comfort level and confidence level, you've had 4 starts this season. You're 2-2, as I mentioned earlier, 2 road wins in 2 difficult environments. You're 4-2 overall as a starter, including last year. Bill Belichick himself on the Greg Hill show this morning had some pretty high praise for you and how you operate the offense. Given all of that, with 2 games left to go, I know you're going to be the starter these next 2 weeks. Do you feel as though you've earned the right to be the starter going into next season?
Right now I'm kind of just, trying to be where my feet are and, focus on the Bills. I'm sure those conversations and, things like that will happen, in the off season or after the Jets game. And, I'll talk about that then. But right now, I'm really focused on the Bills and just, trying to get these guys down because they're a heck of a team. They've been rolling. So it's going to be a tough challenge for us offensively to play against these guys. So, I'll talk about all that stuff and answer all that stuff. And I'm sure those conversations will come up, once the Jets game ends and into the offseason.
So 2 wins ago in Pittsburgh on Thursday night, post-game locker room video shared by Patriots Social, big embrace between you and Billy O, and then a nice firm handshake with Coach Belichick. This time, however, it comes out, you guys smiling ear to ear, big hug, big embrace after the victory. I'm just curious how, over, again, these last 4 or 5 weeks that you've been entrenched as the starter, how your relationship with Coach Belichick has grown, what you've learned from him, and just, I guess, what you've seen from him, too, with, I guess, job status questions and things like that sort of in the air around here, just how that relationship between the two of you has grown.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely grown over the last, year or 2 that I've been here. Me and him have always had a great relationship. I've always been able to, walk into his office, ask any questions, and he was always, very open to answering anything that, I had questions about. But, the handshake thing and everything, I told him when I walked in after the Broncos game, he reached out for the handshake. And I was like, Coach, no more handshakes. Let's go for a hug.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of how that all happened. But, it's awesome to be coached by one of the greatest or the greatest of all time. So, I come to the building every day happy to be able to learn from him and, kind of just be a sponge and listen to everything he has to say about, the entirety of the game of football.
And Bailey, one of my favorite Patriots to watch this year has been Demario Douglas. Of course, Mike, besides Bailey, right?
Yeah,
Our second favorite guy behind you, Bailey, has been Demario Douglas. He has 44 catches this year, which is actually a rookie record for a wide receiver under Bill Belichick. What has it been like for you to work with Demario Douglas and see his growth throughout this year?
Yeah, it's been awesome to see what he's been able to do. He's a very talented guy. I mean, he can do a lot of things for us, in all phases, the run game and the pass game. He's, a very talented football player, and to be able to have one of those guys in the receiver room just, helps tremendously. And I think, from top to bottom in that room, we're really good. So, Pop is going to continue to get better. He works hard. He comes every day. He's the same person every day. He understands, that what things that he needs to get better at, the things that he's really good at. So I'm excited to see what the future has for him, but I know it's going to be really good because he's going to come to work every day and give it his all.
Talking to Patriots quarterback Bailey Zappe here. The quarterback question of the week is brought to you by Northeast Men's Health, the experts in men's sexual health, with offices in Dedham, Marlborough, Woburn, and Salem, New Hampshire. Visit northeastmenshealth.com. Bailey, last week we talked about with you if you had or hadn't had Christmas presents purchased for your offensive lineman. You wouldn't indulge then. Obviously, pre-Christmas, you didn't want to spoil any surprises. Post-Christmas here, we're at December 26th. Are you able to let us into the secret as to what you got your offensive lineman for a Christmas present after Sunday's win?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing crazy. I got each one a pack of 4 David Off cigars.
Nice.
From what I've heard, everybody has enjoyed them, and I don't think anybody has smoked them yet, but they have before, and everybody loved the gift. But, it was nothing big. I told them, I was like, hey, I know it was on short notice. I wasn't able to get nothing too big, but, they all said that it's the thought that counts. So it was awesome to kind of treat those guys because they've been working their butts off all year to keep us clean, and they've been doing a phenomenal job.
Another guy who maybe we all want to give a gift to after that game was Chad Ryland, who hit the 56-yard game-winning field goal. But, Bailey, that was after he had struggled early in the game, missed a field goal, missed an extra point. Did you share any words with him after those misses or prior to him making the game-winning field goal? And what was just your overall thoughts on him being able to bounce back and make that game-winning kick?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have any, we didn't talk any between the game or anything like that. I know that he has like Slater and those guys that he talks to, and I know Slater probably has some, great words for him. But there was never a doubt in my mind when we went out there in that last drive to go and win the game. That when we put him out there for that 56-yarder, I really never had a doubt in my mind that he was going to put it through. The mental toughness that guy showed that game is phenomenal. To be able to go out there and kick it and put it right down the middle. I mean, I don't think he could have kicked it any better. That was awesome to see. It was a very exciting moment, and I'm happy for him. And it was awesome to kind of see him come through and do what everybody knows that he can do, and that's win us football games.
Before we let you go, Bailey, I just want to get your thoughts on how your defense performed Sunday night in Denver. We saw Christian Barmore come up with 3, obviously, big-time sacks on Russell Wilson. Not saving you guys, but being able to grab some stops when you guys needed it towards the end, and then you guys go down and are able to get the game-winning field goal. Marte Mapu making big play on special teams. Just the complimentary football you guys played on Sunday, and your thoughts on the defense and how they were able to help you out on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty awesome to be an offensive player and to watch your defense go out there and play the way they did. Just speaking from the first play, I have a fumble, they get the ball on whatever yard line. I mean, they're inside the 10-yard line or whatever it was. And for them to be able to stop them on 4 downs and turn the ball over on downs and really not have any points come off that turnover is pretty awesome. I mean, those guys have been great all year. No matter what offense they've been able to play, I think, they always come to play and they always show up. And for an offense to have a defense like that, it's kind of lifts a weight off your shoulder because those guys are going to go out there and they're going to play their butts off and they're going to, do everything they can to help us win those games. And, I've always been that guy to kind of just sit back and, talk to the offensive, OC and just kind of go over the series. But I've been catching myself recently standing up and watching those guys play because they're playing football, and it's phenomenal to watch every single one of those guys go out there and play.
Last question here for Bailey Zappe on the Harbor One hotline. Bailey, you have the Bills coming up this week on New Year's Eve. Any thoughts just as you start to prepare on the Bills as a whole, on their defense, and what you're looking for in this coming game?
Yeah, I mean, those guys are coached very well to start it off. Coach McDermott does a phenomenal job with each one of those guys, and from the front, the defensive lines, to the backers, to the DBs, through and through, the depth is phenomenal. Those guys play well. A lot of them have been playing in the league for a long time, so they have that veteran mentality. They understand, disguising and things like that. So it's going to be a good challenge for us to go out there, have great communication, and execute, our system and what we're wanting to do on the offensive side. So I'm excited. It's going to be a great challenge for us, and they've been rolling, so it's going to be up to us to go out there and execute and all be on the same page.
All right, he is Patriots starting quarterback Bailey Zappe. Bailey, really appreciated the interview. Thanks for taking the time today.
Thanks, Bailey.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me.